The gameplay in Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, is still just as action-packed as ever. It's still frantic, it's still over the top, and it's still bone-crunchingly satisfying. But what's surprising is that this isn't just a game about violently killing Nazis. More than ever before, Wolfenstein's a game that's got heart. It balances serious issues with light-heartedness, and has characters and relationships that you end up actually caring about. It shows that the single-player first-person shooter is still far from dead.
I don't want to go back out there. I can't do this anymore.
Picking up straight from where the New Order left off, the Nazis succeeded in taking over the world. Our hero, Blazcowicz, is left crippled from his last battle, and so begins the game a broken man. Nevertheless, he still strikes fear into Nazi hearts, as he's deemed a terrorist with the nickname Terror Billy. However, you feel his weakness as he fights wheelchair bound, and soon, with no strength left in his body, relies upon power armor to move.
1, 2, 3. I'll video a new piece of track. Now, Mr. Blazcowicz, I'm very happy to see you awake, not so happy to see you out of bed.
Where is she?
Every encounter usually begins with you sneaking in, trying to take out enemy commanders before they can radio in any reinforcements. With strong melee attacks and effective suppressors, it shouldn't be too much of a problem, but there's always that one pesky Nazi that happens to look your way, and then all hell breaks loose. Of course, stealth is optional. You could go in guns a-blazing, but health depletes extremely quickly, so there's little room for error, and you always have to be cautious of your flanks. There's not a huge array of weapons, but the ones that you do have can be dual-wielded in any combination that you like. Plus, the upgrades can completely change the way that a weapon works, from adding a scope to adding a silencer.
It says I've got a silencer on, but that really doesn't sound that quiet. I wonder if they... Oh, see, they heard me. They definitely heard me.
It does a good job of making you really hate Nazis, which shouldn't be too hard, but it goes out of its way to make these enemies the nastiest, most evil people on Earth, with a sick sense of humour and a complete overconfidence in their strength, making it all the more satisfying to finally take them down. The AI is a little dodgy sometimes, with the average soldier throwing themselves into your line of fire with no concern for safety. In fact, they often funnel themselves into your sights, leaving you thinking that perhaps they're a little bit too dumb.
Danke schön.
Danke. Ciao.
I've heard enough. No more.
The drive to keep on playing isn't just because of the fun of the combat, it's also about seeing where this crazy story is going to go next. It certainly has its fair share of twists and turns, too juicy to spoil here. You may be exploring the remains of an atom-bombed New York one minute, then you'll be sneaking into a secret base near Area 51 the next. And of course it takes things intergalactic with Nazis in space. There's something new to be done on every level, some things more expected than others.
What are you going to do to me?
I will rape and murder you.
However, a lot of the environments do kind of blend into one another. There's a lot of ruins and research facilities that all kind of look alike, none of them really standing out, at least compared to the other Wolfenstein games. A lot of the game deals with the troubles in BJ's past. You get to see how he became the man that he is today, and it gets pretty dark.
What is it with you damn Jews? Have all the answers, do you? Smart-mouthed goddamn Jew.
Who would have thought they would ever be so interested in the backstory of a character from a 1992 shooter? BJ doesn't work alone though. He's got an ever-expanding group of rebel fighters, each of them full of personality.
Tomorrow we are gonna shoot Nazis until we run out of bullets. But tonight is for Blazcowicz.
You really look forward to these cutscenes just to see how all these different characters interact. They become the ultimate group of badasses, a group that you want to be a part of. The voice acting is outstanding, and it's got the perfect balance of seriousness and humour.
Don't act like you know things you can't possibly know!
Well, the toilet works.
In between the missions, you get to explore the base, which is a stolen Nazi U-boat. Walking around is always entertaining, as you eavesdrop on the very natural-sounding conversations. It feels like a real, lived-in guerrilla camp. But there's only so much time for hanging around. There's still Enigma codes to crack and Uber commanders to kill.
Does this end kill Nazis?
Enthusiastically so.
Then I'm sure it will.
When it comes to shooters, there will always be a market for a strong single-player experience. It's not always about just beating others online, it's about taking on a carefully designed assault course created by developers to test our skills against their creations. It's about cranking up the difficulty and still coming out on top, regardless of whatever Nazi scum may throw at us. As always, thanks for watching.
We are the whirlwind.